Good morning, afternoon, and evening. I'm your host, Peter Jablaki, and you're listening to another episode of History Show. Thank you for tuning in a few minutes today for allowing me on the story. If you've already learned the show, make sure you click the subscribe button. If you like this show, make sure also spread word to your friend. And if you like to support the work that goes into creating History Show, you can always do so by joining our Patreon account for the little as $1 a month at patreon.com per slash or by following a link on the website at www.historyshortbreadpodcast.com. Having said all that, the so-called Tecumseh Curse, also referred as a curse of Tippecanoe, is a piece of American folklore suggests U.S. President-elect inherit divisible by 20 every 20 years, starting in 1840, would die while in office. This pattern is tied to a supposed curse placed by the shining leader Tecumseh or his brother Tenskwatawa, known as prophet, after the Shawnee suffered significant losses to U.S. forces led by William Henry Harris in the Battle of Tippecanoe in 1812. Here is the rest of that story. Mr. Garbabe, tears down this wall. Let's get the origin out of the way. The legend of Tecumseh Curse found its roots in a tumultuous period of early 19th century American history, marked by clashes between Native American tribes and the expanding United States. By then, the tensions between Native American tribes and the settlers in the Ohio River Belt breaking point. Tecumseh and charismatic showing leader sort of resist encroachment of settler by uniting various tribes into a confederacy. Tecumseh's vision was revolutionary. He proposed a pan-tribal alliance that would reject land sales to the United States, asserting that no single tribe had the authority to cede land that belonged to all native peoples. While Tecumseh rebels across the Midwest and the South to rally support for his Confederacy, his brother Tenskwatawa, a spiritual leader unknown as a prophet, established a settlement at Prophettown near the Tippecanoe River in present-day Indiana. Prophettown became a symbolic and strategic hub for Native resistance. In late 1111, William Henry Harrison, then governor of the Indiana Territory, led a force of about 1,000 soldiers to confront the Native Confederacy. Harrison, aware of Tecumseh's growing influence, sought to crush the movement before it could gain further momentum. The resulting battle on November 7, 1811, was a fierce and chaotic fight. Despite Tenskwata's assurance of spiritual victory, the Shawnee and their allies were decisively defeated. The defeat in Tippecanoe did a severe blow to the Confederacy. Prophetstown was destroyed, and Harrison emerged as a national hero, earning the nickname Old Tippecanoe. However, the loss also emboldened Tecumseh, who redoubled his deeper resist American expansion. United States of Britain, Tecumseh allied with the British, believing their support could help halt American expansion. However, the tide turned against Tecumseh and his British allies. On October 5, 1813, at the Battle of Thames under Ontario, Tecumseh was killed during a decisive American victory led by none other but Harrison. His death marked the collapse of his Confederacy and the then significant organized Native American resistance in Northern Territory. The origins of the curse are tied to the aftermath of this event. According to legend, Tenskwatawa, upset by the defeat of Tippecanoe and the death of his brother, ordered a curse against William Henry Harrison and all future American leaders. The exact wording of the curse is not documented. After all, it is a legend. Its historical accuracy is debated, but there's definitely something here. The story claimed that Tenskwatawa vowed that Harrison, along with every great leader elected in the year divisible by 20, would die while in office. This idea of cause, however, one unknown until it's more or less invented or later reinvented. We observe and notice a very peculiar pattern of U.S. presidents dying in office after being elected in years divisible by 20. Interestingly, starting with Harrison in 1840. Coincidence? Perhaps. So, there are actually quite a few presidents elected in years divisible by 20, whose ultimate fate was a less than ideal. Naturally, William Harrison Haley was first to feel the wrath of the Tecumseh cult. Elected in 1840, Harrison, at 68 years old, was the oldest president to take office at the time, and the first dying in this case from pneumonia, having served only 31 days. His lengthy inaugural speech on a cold, wet March day without proper attire was believed to have contributed to his illness, although modern historians suggest it was typhoid fever from contaminated water near the White House. Still, his untimely death led to the first use of the presidential line of succession, elevating Vice President John Tyler to the presidency. As supposedly ordained, the next president to die in office was, you guessed it, elected 20 years later in 1860. Lincoln's re-election in 1964 coincided with the Union victory in the Civil War. However, his leadership during the Reconstruction period was cut short with a General Rooksbush, a Confederate sympathizer, shot him at Fort Theater. Lincoln's assassination on April 15, 1865, and the first presidential assassination in U.S. history, plunged the nation into grief and uncertainty as it faced the challenges in rebuilding a fractured country, which brings us to the next of it. And yes, Menelik Prison 20 years after Lincoln. Now in 1880, President James R. Garfield served only 199 days in office, making him one of the shortest serving presidents of all time. He was shot by Charles Keitel, a disgruntled office seeker at a Washington, D.C. train station in July of 1881. Garfield lingered for months, suffering from infection due to poor medical care. I know what you're thinking. There's no way that the one will lie. But it did. The next president who died in office was, in this case, re-elected president 20 years after Garfield, and that will be William McKinley, a proponent of economic protectionism and imperial expansion. He was shot by Ernest Rion Chocolat during a public reception of Bartholomew in September of 1901. Initially, doctors believed McKinley would survive, but gangrene developed in his wound, leading to his death. His assassination brought new renewed attention to the security of public officials and marked the rise of Theodore Roosevelt and transformed President who ushered in progress era. But let us move on from tension purpose. Elected 20 years later, yep, in 1920, Warren G. Hardy's sudden death occurred during a mounting scandal in his administration, including the infamous Defacto scandal. Harding was on a cross-country voyage understanding tour. He fell ill in San Francisco. Official reports attribute his death to the heart attack or stroke, though rumors of poisoning or suicide persisted due to scandals involving his administration. The next one or less could avoid his fate, but instead decided to run for an unprecedented third term in office. And yes, you guessed it, in 1940, 20 years after Harding. FDR's health had been deteriorating during his first term. Is led the Allies to victory in World War II. Well as Warm Spring, Georgia, he suffered a massive cerebral hemorrhage and died on April 12, 1945. His passing shocked the nation, which had come to see him as a symbol of stability during the Great Depression and World War II. All of which brings us to probably the most infamous death of the Descamps of causing every president elected into office every 20 years to never live it alive. President John F. Kennedy, elected in 1960, 20 years after FDR's re-election, was shot in Dallas, Texas, while riding on a motorcade with his wife Jacqueline. Lee Harvey Oswald, an alleged assassin, was later killed while in police custody. Adding to the mystery surrounding the event, Kennedy's death marked the last successful assassination of the U.S. president and led to significant change in presidential security measures. It is later point that perhaps broke the cards 20 years later, but it needs to be noted that it did so just barely. Elected in 1980, Ronald Reagan survived an assassination attempt in 1981, breaking the pattern of death. Adventures in medical care insecurity likely saved his life after being shot by John Hinckley Jr. But that was not the end. We should also note that elected in 2000, George W. Bush also survived his presidency despite an assassination attempt in 2005 when a grenade threw on him during a visit to Georgia. One can believe this would be, but many studious scholars agree that curse is simply coincidence. The high mortality rate of 19 deaths can be attributed to the lack of modern medicine or political instability, and ultimately the cause align with human tendency to find patterns and creating narratives around his event. Or there is more to it. I guess that's up to you to believe. Thanks for listening. In the middle continental US, the special stretch plan, formerly known as the Neutral Strip or No Man's Land, it was at one point the most lawless place in the world. In a horrible maker and a middle of nowhere, a special group of people left their mark on this country, know their stories or not known to a wide audience. Our nowhere panhandle history, detailed, fascinating, strange, and meaningful story from the Oklahoma and Texas Panhandle. Sponsored by Oklahoma Panhandle University. Tune in and hear all about Hidden Heart of America. Wow.